And welcome back to News 2 at 11. Metro Council is set to discuss many resolutions, including gun violence, license plate readers, and more. Public Health and Safety Committee Chair Erin Evans joins us now. Erin, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So want to jump right in here. We've got a lot to cover. First, talking about the Hospital Authority and some new funding, $10 million. What would this look like?
Right. So this is funding that is basically going to shore up the hospital between now and the end of the fiscal year because they need it. And so we're dipping into the fund balance to make sure that they have what they need to be able to pay their bills.
Okay, good to know. Now, moving right along to gun violence. This resolution would allow Metro to work with ATF to develop this crime intelligence strategy so you could find the people responsible and also where these guns came from. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so it's establishing a memorandum of understanding, and which will in turn kind of create this task force. And it's really interesting, I think, because the task force piece related to your point, like where are guns that are used in crimes originating from, I think will provide the city and the government, with just a lot more data about some of that, because kind of tracking like when a gun is stolen, for instance, and where it ends up being used potentially to commit a crime, it can be really difficult. So I'm really encouraged about this new forging of a relationship.
Exactly. And so Metro working with ATF, that is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Is this sort of a new partnership, and what would that look like?
So I don't know the specifics about how the execution of this is going to work, and so I think that's going to be a great question to ask in committee and what that will really look like. And I also need to find out a little bit more about, is this new or is this something that we let lapse at one point, and also is it coming back? So I think there'll also be really good committee questions for tomorrow.
Exactly. Okay, great. Lots to discuss there. Now I want to get into this about the opioid medication that reduces overdoses. This is called Cloxato, and that's twice as strong as Narcan.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Right. So basically, as kind of the opioid overdose crisis kind of continues to evolve over time, there's different ways to be able to respond. Well, over time, Narcan by itself, it was a lower dose. Naloxone is one of the brand names. And so it was requiring that when first responders were encountering somebody that had OD'd, they were having to use multiple doses of it. So Cloxato is a brand name that has a higher dose. And so it means less times, that someone would have to use one of those doses to be able to help someone respond after an overdose.
And that's just great because we know how powerful Narcan can be in the implementation of that. So this resolution would accept a donation, right?
Yes, directly from the company that manufactures Cloxato. And so it's a really big opportunity for MNPD with the outreach activities that they do. They won't have to go to the health department or to the state health department to try to secure whenever they're out doing community outreach related to overdose response.
Exactly. And I also love that this is going to be implemented in entertainment and sports venues. That's huge in Nashville.
Yeah, so that's something that Sergeant Mike Hotz from MNPD and then Benton McDonough, who's the director of nightlife, have been working on and collaborating across all these different industries in Davidson County. And so they're making a lot of inroads into Bridgestone Arena, for instance, other entertainment facilities, sports facilities, to be able to make sure that one boxes with Cloxato are included in case somebody happens to have an overdose while they're on property.
Okay, great. And then finally, real quick, license plate readers. Of course, we know last council voted to put it through after 2023, but now there's this new council with a new perspective.
We have a different perspective. I would say it's more split probably than last council, and counting votes is very difficult. So we have a resolution that's focused on kind of essentially forcing the conversation, but the challenge is not with the mayor's office or with MNPD or with procurement on this. It's really with the council, and do we have the votes to actually move forward with some kind of conversation related to license plate readers?
Okay, great. Erin, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Meeting happening tomorrow at 6:30, and you can head to streamnashville.gov to check that out.